Hi, I'm Matt with Art with a Heart. I want to thank you so much for taking time to make ceramic hearts for us. By now you've gotten your kit, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the way to go about making these hearts so that they're beautiful and that they are useful to us. So you're going to start by taking your bundle of clay out of the bag, and you want to assemble maybe some tools that you have at home. This is optional, but you could use pencils, pens, things with maybe a little bit of a point on them so you can make a design in the clay when you get to that stage. But first you're going to unwrap your clay, and it's going to look like you don't have much clay to work with, but the truth is that you'll probably get a few hearts out of this amount of clay. To start, take a chunk off your bundle and work it in your hands into an approximate shape of a heart. Now, as you do this, there's the temptation to flatten it out. A little of that is okay, but we really want to encourage you not to make your hearts any thinner than your cell phone. If you have a thick case on your cell phone, you can take off the case and kind of gauge what we mean by that. If you're finding you're getting it to the thinness of like a rolled out cookie, that's probably too thin and it risks breaking in the kiln or when we apply it to the sculpture. So you're going to take your bundle of clay, and there are a couple ways you can go about getting the heart shape. What I like to do is I like to push it into an approximate shape with my thumb and my fingers, and then take a sharp object or even like a butter knife if you have it at home. And what I like to do is carve the shape of a heart into the clay that I have sitting in front of me. Now, there is no such thing as a perfect heart shape. So please do not be concerned if yours doesn't look exactly like mine. It's okay to have hearts that have tails that kind of curve. It's okay to have hearts that are more bulbous than others, just so long as you don't make it too thin. So I have my heart here. I've kind of gotten the heart shape. Now I can tweak it with my fingers. If I want it to have smooth edges, I can push those in. I can use my tool to give it more of a formed edge. Anything is okay. If I find that maybe I have a cut in the heart or the clay has broken a little bit and I don't want that there, I can use just a little bit of water on my finger to smooth out that imperfection. Be careful that you don't get too much water in your clay because that'll make it muddy and a little bit difficult to work with. At this stage, I have my heart. It's not too thin. I like the shape. I have a couple choices now. I can leave it smooth. Smooth hearts, once they are glazed, have a really neat look to them. You can also texture to your hearts. This is a heart that's been painted but hasn't been glazed, so it's not shiny. It will be shiny. And there are, different ways that you can make it look interesting. What I'm going to do with this one is I'm going to put little rays of sunshine radiating out of the middle of the heart with my knife. And I'm going to carve that in here. And again, nothing is permanent, so if I did something I didn't like, I could take a little bit of my water and smooth the surface out again. But I kind of like what I have here. So I'm going to clean up the edges. And then I'm going to flip it over gently in my hand, and I'm going to score the back of the heart. Because this is the part that's going to adhere to the sculpture, we want it a little bit textured. So what I normally do is I just make cross hatches. So I go one way, then I go the other way, and that's enough texture that it will stick. Flip it back over, make sure I didn't mess up my design. And that's one heart. So you can see, out of the original bundle of clay, I have a lot more clay to work with. Now this is what I would call a medium-sized heart. You can go a little bit smaller than this if you wanted to. You can go much larger as well, as long as you don't go too thin. So I'm gonna use the rest of my clay to make a bigger heart. Again, push it kind of in the shape of a heart with my thumb and forefingers. It's kind of like a triangle with rounded edges. Carve out my shape with my knife, and then I'll show you what you can do with the excess clay. I like to use the excess clay in a situation like this where I think this is the last heart I'm going to make. I take the clay that I've carved off of it, and I use it to just make the heart a little bit more bulbous. And it's not going to look great at first, but when I use my finger to smooth that out, I can make it uniform. Again, there's a little bit of water. If you need it, you might not even need it.